It's your boy, coming to you live with another video. Today we're going to be doing a review of the most stand-up chads among men. First on the list we have Wheezy. He's a side character for Big City Greens, not much of a supporting character role. When he's there, he usually says some sort of chat along the lines of, "It ain't easy being Wheezy," and also, you know how it is. He's ultimately a Chad character, so whenever he comes on screen, he's just emitting pure Sigma vibes. Like, he's always just chilling, and, like, at all times. Everything he says is pure catchphrase. But, honestly, as a whole character, I think he could possibly be better. I feel like they've overused his lines a bit too much, and now he's saying complete sentences. I think not. Honestly, though, like, I feel like he could definitely be more as a character. And honestly, if we could just get, like, an entire Wheezy backstory episode, that would be absolutely insane as well. Honestly, though, Wheezy is kind of a chat among men, and I've come to expect quite a lot from him when he comes on screen. Like I said, his character feels a bit overused, and if they could just go back to limiting that'd be great. But ultimately, he's a stand-up guy, very, very kind, very optimistic, but also just an absolute unit. So next up on the list, we have Lex Luthor from Smallville. Now, Lex Luthor he is the most stand-up guy in Smallville. You can totally see his insane character art over the first 5 seasons of the show as he kind of descends into being the supervillain that he is. But he remains to be a Chad among men. At the very beginning, he befriends Clark Kent after hitting him with his car. And guess what car? Oh baby, a Porsche? Say less. Like, Clark must have been like, "It was my pleasure to be hit by your car, because that's a nice car." But ultimately, throughout the first 4 seasons, he's really just trying to help Clark in his love life with Lana Lang. He tried to just be the best friend he can, but they ultimately start to become rivals, and their friendship ends at the end of season 4. But ultimately, he's just kind of a Chad among men. He can be very cold and calculating at times, but at the same time, he can also just be, what could I say? He can be a Chad. He's really deep into the arts of mythology, like poetry and chunk. He is one of the most quotable characters. Everything he says is just pure intellectual bliss. He is insane. Like, one of my favorite quotes from Smallville is by him. "You can't save everyone, Clark. All you're gonna do is give yourself a Messiah complex and a lot of enemies." Season 1, episode 13. Now, next up on the list, we have Steve the Harrington. Ooh. Now, Steve Harrington, he started off in strangerthings. He was only supposed to be a minor character, and he was supposed to be killed off in season 1. But he ultimately sprouted into the chat among men that we all know today. He is actually purely a stand-up guy, or he intended to really be a jerk. But he's always been a chat, even when he was a bully. He later befriended Dustin, and he basically said, "Hey Nancy, bye." Ultimately, he's become kind of the babysitter almost of the group, but then again, he's also become Dustin's mentor and guidance counselor, just in all things life, but they're also at the same time best friends. So you can really see their connection in season 3 as they work together throughout the entire season. In season 2, you can kind of see the rise of that. Like I said, his character development is great. He started off as being a complete jerk, but he kind of turned into a good person, like a really good person, being very supportive and very just there for the boys. Honestly, he's an insane character, and I think Joe Keery did a great job of playing him, and all his other roles as well. Joe Keery does a great job at what he does. But next up on the list, we have Grunkle Stan. Now, you might be asking, why of all pictures would I choose this one? Because this just goes to show what kind of a stand-up guy he is. Favorite quote: "One does not simply teach kids swears." Insane. Grunkle Stan lives in the small town of Gravity Falls, Oregon. He owns a little cabin in the woods called the Mystery Shack. Before that called the Murder Hut. Basically, this is where he sells his merchandise and attracts tourists with his inane contraptions and I don't know what the chunk. He is, as well as being a swindler and a grifter, he is also, like I said, he's a Chad. He's on the list, so obviously he is. But as well as being the grumpy old man that he is, that everybody knows and loves, especially Zeus. Grunkle Stan can also be a very great, a very good grunkle. He ultimately has a heart for the children, and you can really just feel the love. But you know, he pulls up hard. He's all about teaching kids swears. Honestly, I feel like if he weren't for all his insane amounts of crimes that he had done, he probably would have gotten mayor of Gravity Falls. Voiced by Alex Hirsch, the creator as well of Gravity Falls. Honestly, every time Grunkle Stan is on screen, he truly delivers in a big way. Next up on the list we have Zeus. Now, you might look at this picture and be like, it's not Zeus. But it is. It is very much Zeus. Now, Zeus is what you call an intellectual. Most people think he's actually intellectually challenged and he probably dropped out of high school. But ultimately, he's just cracked at life. He is wise beyond his years. He is absolutely insane. You know he pulls up hard. And everything that comes out of his mouth is just insane. Like, he only asks the real questions like, if you eat the toy in your cereal, does that make you a specially marked box? These are legitimate questions. Ultimately, he's best friend. He's ultimately like kind of best friends with Mabel, and throughout the entire show, just being an absolute chat among men, being there for the boys as well. Most people look down at him as the dumb, lovable idiot, but if you really know Zeus, you know that he's got a big heart and a big brain. Honestly, he's probably the hierarchy of the show, and he's he may not be an absolute patriot like Grunkle Stan, but he still delivers in big ways as a character. Now, last on the list we have Morbius. Dr. Michael Morbius, born with a rare blood disease, decided it would be a good idea to cut his hand and put it in a cave. It's big brain time. Basically, what he did is he descended from being an absolute nub to being a chat among men. The second he was infected, he gained all sorts of enhanced superhuman abilities. As we know him now as Morbius. Ultimately, my favorite line from that movie, it's the best line. It's Morbin time. And when he says it's Morbin time, he is not joking. Although the film was choppy, it felt unfinished in some scenes, Michael Morbius was just a cracked character. Honestly, he's really chat among men. I put him on this list because not only does he continue to do insane things throughout the movie. Now that's really all I have for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget, negate the hate.
My mama, she told me can't cuss. Lord, don't even know to trust. Cred, tip of my tongue ever since I was young. I fooled with my dog on a cup.